So just a heads up. We are going to start on our back. Mute you all. And we're going to start in a nice, supportive positioning. Reclined all the way onto the back. Let your feet come out as wide as the mat. And then let your knees fall together so that they are resting on each other. You can kind of adjust a little bit so that in this position, you can let go. You can fully release tension and let your body weight fall into the mat. Take a moment to just be here. Shut down your eyes. And breathe and focus just on breathing. Don't change anything about your breath. Just inhale, exhale. In and out. And become a little bit more aware now just of your body on more of a cellular level. Just feeling all parts of the body, feeling the cells in your body begin to settle as you release tension from your body and just be. And in the quiet, maybe you can feel and perhaps even hear your heart beating. The sort of natural rhythm of your body system, pumping blood to your vital organs and your muscle tissue. Now become more aware of your lungs and the air that you pull in on your inhale. I want you to feel the coolness of the air as you pull it in through the nose. Pull it all the way in and really sort of imagine and follow that air down into your lungs and offering oxygen to your body. And then as you exhale, feeling the air, that carbon dioxide coming out of the body and perhaps feeling the warmth of that air as it comes out of the body. Just feeling these systems in your body working together. Meet me at the bottom of an exhale, all the way out with your air. Seal your lips, inhale fully through the nose, all the way to the top, nice and slowly. Pause at the top with a full lung of air, and exhale, sigh it out. One more time like that. Seal the lips, inhale through the nose. Pause at the top with a full lung. Exhale, sigh it out, and let tension go. Take the next few moments to create an intention for your practice on the mat today. Why did you come to your mat? What do you want out of this practice for yourself? Perhaps it's balance. Perhaps it's creating presence for yourself. Perhaps it's just to move intentionally. Take a couple of nice full breaths to seal that in. And then let your knees come out wide. Bring the soles of your feet together and let the knees fall out wide. Supta Baddha Konasana. Find a place to rest your hands, either inner thighs, hand on belly or chest, or just laying on the mat beside you. We're going to take some community breaths. They will be on the count of 5 on your inhale and exhale. We'll hold for just a moment at the top and bottom of each breath. So again, seal the lips, And meet me at the bottom of an exhale, all the way out. And then inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pausing at the top. And then exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pausing at the bottom. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause. Again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause at the top. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause. Continue 2 more rounds, adjusting your number as needed. After your second round, allow your hands to come to the outside of the knees, closing your legs like a book. Feet hip width apart, pulling those heels close to the sit bones. Maybe you can actually touch your heels, and pushing up into a bridge all the way up with the hips. Pause at the top. Think about extending through the cervical spine. So really get a nice long neck, and then feel the weight in your shoulders, not your head. Give a little squeeze to the knees so they don't fall out wide. And then lift your hips just a little bit higher. And then I want you to try to articulate your spine down 1 vertebrae at a time, all the way to the tailbone. Good. Pausing here at the bottom, we're going to do a couple of pelvic tilts. On your exhale, flatten the low back to the mat as you come light in the tailbone. Hips stay on the ground. You'll feel corseting through the core. Inhale, release. Exhale, flatten the low back, come light in the tailbone, really finding that bracing through the core. Inhale, release. 1 more. Exhale, lift the tailbone slightly, low back to the ground. Inhale, release. Now this time on your exhale, you're going to do your pelvic tilt, but then extend that all the way up into a bridge to the top. Holding here, right? Finding all those parts of elongating the cervical spine, squeezing the legs a little bit, get a little higher with the hips, and then articulate the spine down 1 vertebrae at a time, all the way to the tailbone. And then again, pelvic tilt up into a bridge, pause, get a little higher, slowly come down 1 vertebrae at a time, all the way to the tailbone. 1 more time like that, using that pelvic tilt to start the bridge, getting all the way up to the top, pausing here, and then articulating down. All right, okay. We're gonna do a figure 4 bridge. So right ankle on top of left knee, and then scoot your left foot just a little bit more towards the center of your body on the mat. And then again, using that pelvic tilt, lift up into a bridge with this figure 4 formation of your legs. We're gonna pause here. Now feel the left glute really working. And I want you to think about that right knee being pulled actively towards the mat underneath you. Okay, but keep your hips square, don't let them drop. Okay, and then make sure you've got a little bit of low belly activation so you're not overarching in the low back. You should feel a stretch on the right hip, activation through the left. And then come on down 1 vertebrae at a time with control all the way to the tailbone. And then switch sides. So left ankle, right knee. Switch that right foot a little bit more towards the center of your body on the mat. Drive through the heel of that right foot and come on up through a pelvic tilt. So again, really lifting and activating the right hip, And then feeling that stretch in the left hip as we actively pull the left knee towards the ground. And then articulate the spine down all the way to the tailbone. And then unhook the ankle from the knee and just let your knees fall from one side to the other. So a little windshield wipering. Take the range of motion really shallow at first, just to kind of feel how this twisting motion feels for you. And then slowly, maybe you let the knees fall a little bit more. The opposite side hip will come up off the mat. Keep your shoulders anchored to the ground. And just feel, you might get a couple pops, a little stretching action as you drop down to one side. And then coming into stillness, keep your left leg bent for now and lift the right leg up. Now we won't be here for long. If this feels really hard for you to just lift the leg, you can use your hands behind the hamstring. We're just gonna stay here, okay? We're gonna come back to this later in class, okay? If it's possible and you feel comfortable, peace finger to big toe. If you wanna use a strap, you're welcome to put it over the ball of your foot. If you're feeling good here, take that left leg and extend it long. So that's going to intensify the stretch here. And then pull the low belly in just a little bit. And then allow the shoulders to pull down the back so you have a nice long neck. Just a couple of nice full breaths here. Being in your body in this moment and sort of just taking inventory as we start class here. And then letting go of the foot or strap, whoever you've got, and letting that go. Bending both knees once again and going back to those windshield wipers just a few times, side to side. And then coming into stillness, keep the right leg bent and raise the left leg up above the hip. And then again, you can choose whether it's behind the hamstring or if you can get left peace fingers to big toe, great. If you want to use a strap, set that up. Right now, we're just kind of feeling that stretch in the back of the leg. If this feels good to you, extend that right leg and see how that changes things for you. Pull the belly in just a bit and let the shoulders relax. You might find, I know I do, one side feels tighter than the other, and that's a good thing to observe. Just try not to place any judgment around it, right? It is what it is. And breathe, a nice couple deep breaths here. And then nice and slowly and controllably letting go of the strap or the foot or the hamstring and letting both feet come to the ground. Again, bending the knees and letting the knees fall from side to side a few times. All right, pull those legs into the chest, grab the hamstrings, and we're gonna kind of rock and roll. Now, if your rock and roll is just a little bit, that's great. If you can get a little more momentum, we are gonna come into an all four position. So you can come up to a seated position, cross the ankles, plant the hands, and step back and find your tabletop position. Take a moment to make sure your hands are under your shoulders, knees are under the hips, and then really think about, you know, making that neck long here, pulling the belly in. So this is kind of our neutral position. Exhale fully, and then inhale, cow pose. Allow the belly to fall to the mat, arch the back, look up, think about that broad chest, and then exhale, cat pose. Round the back, tuck the tail and chin, and feel the stretch on the back side. Inhale, belly swoops to the ground, hips push back and up. Try to externally rotate the hands so the chest is broad. And then move through these cat-cows, exhaling through cat, inhaling through cow. And again, just sort of taking inventory as we move with our breath. And then pausing in our neutral position, take your right hand, inhale, open up your chest to the right, look up at your hand. Exhale, thread the needle under your left arm and reach. Allow the shoulder to fall. We're going to keep this dynamic, so then come back up. Inhale, look up, reach up. Exhale, thread the needle as you exhale here. One more just like that. Inhale, up. Exhale, thread the needle. This time, let the hand, the shoulder, the temple come down to the mat. You can stay in this position, or you can take that left hand, reach it overhead onto the mat, or you can even go for a half bind, reaching back behind and seeing if you can get to that right thigh with your left hand. And as your right hand reaches to the left, see if your right hip can then reach to the right, really kind of elongating the side into the low back and hip. If you've moved your left hand, replant it on the mat by your face. Push through that hand. Inhale one more time through the right hand. Look up. And exhale, plant the hand. Let's switch sides 3 times, keeping it dynamic. Inhale up. Exhale, reach and thread the needle. Inhale up. Hands are always following the hand here. Keep the shoulders down the back. And exhale, reach and thread the needle. One more time. Inhale, look up, reach up. Exhale, thread the needle. This time allowing the arm, shoulder, temple to come down. Experimenting whatever you did on the other side, either reaching that right hand up overhead or going for a half bind behind the low back. And then as your left hand is reaching right, see if your left hip can reach a little bit more to the left. So opposite direction as your hand. And that'll help open up the shoulder, maybe into the low back and hip. And then if you moved your right hand, replant it onto the mat by your face. Push through the right hand. Inhale up, look up, and exhale. Bring the hands to the mat. All right, with the hands right underneath the shoulders, take your right leg and extend it right out to the right. Okay, and if you can plant your foot onto the ground with the sole of the foot down, great. If you need to be a little bit on the edge, that's fine. Okay, you're gonna feel a stretch through the inner thigh of that right leg. You can stay here in stillness or shift the hips back. It's gonna change the stretch, coming into kind of a child's pose position with an extended leg, and then coming back up over the hands. And so make this dynamic, just letting those hips drop back and forth. And you can kind of play with your range of motion. Maybe you find a spot that feels particularly good and give yourself permission to hang out there for a minute. Couple breaths with this. And then settling up over the hands, bringing that knee back underneath the hips, and then extending the left leg just as we did the right. So you have that leg extended out. You should already feel a stretch in the inner thigh there. And again, stay here or experiment with shifting the hips back and back over the hands. So again, give yourself permission to pause anywhere that feels particularly good. You can even change where your chest is located, lowering it down. So feel free to kind of experiment here. One more breath. And then landing in neutral, bringing that knee back underneath the hip. Okay, bring the hands in front of the shoulders now. All right, you're gonna exhale and bring the hips down, child's pose. Inhale, lift your hips and shift your hips forward into a little bit of a back bend. Squeeze the glutes and think about a broad chest. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, finding your extent of a back bend. Keep the belly tight and the glutes toned. That'll help protect the low back. Couple more of these. Again, just finding what works in your body here. One more, back and forth. And then stopping in neutral, bringing the hands back underneath, tucking the toes, and pushing your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Okay, you can always stay in child's pose if you like. If downward facing dog just feels like too much, that's fine. You can be in child's pose. If you're in downward facing dog, allow your knees to bend, right? Try not to feel like you've got to straighten the legs. And then externally rotate the hands so the eye of the elbows point forward, let the head be heavy, shoulders are pulled down the back. Come up onto your tippy toes and take little baby steps to your hands. You'll be landing, you can bend your knees as much as you need to make this happen. Keep those knees bent, feet are hip width apart, finding ragdoll. So your knees should be bent so much so that your belly and chest maybe even rest. Let the head be heavy. Shake it out, yes and no. Just feeling that traction in the cervical spine. And then choose, if you want to just leave your hands on the mat, that's fine. Grabbing opposite elbows is also an option. And then stay in stillness or find a little bit of rotation maybe over the feet. See how that feels. Maybe a real slight bouncing of the spine. And then coming to stillness, letting the hands fall back to the mat. Heel toe your feet together. And then inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Bring your hands to your shin and make your cervical spine grow long. Exhale, fold and tone the low belly. Inhale again, hands to shin, pull the shoulders down the back, belly in. Exhale, fold. One more just like that. Inhale and exhale. This time on your inhale, sweep your arms up and over, extended mountain pose. And then exhale, hands to heart center, pausing here for a moment, bow your head and reconnect to your intention. What brought you to the mat today? We're going to move through a couple of half sun salutation A and then full sun salutation A's just to continue to warm up the body. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale with a flat back, dive forward into your forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine, bring the hands to the shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up, overhead. Exhale, dive forward into your forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, extended mountain pose. We have one more of those. Exhale, hands through heart center as you dive forward with a flat back, forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up and over. And exhale, hands to heart center, pausing here. Okay, we're going to move through some sun salutation A's. I'm going to modify the first round. You can stick with the modification for the second and third round, or you can choose to not. Okay. Inhale, sweep the arms up and over, extended mountain. Exhale, dive forward with the flat back. Inhale, lift and lengthen, hands to the shins. Exhale, plant the hands. Step back, find that high plank. Inhale here, dropping the knees. Exhale, shift the weight over the hands. Pull the elbows in and lower all the way to the ground. And then inhale, cobra, finding a little back bend here. And then exhale, coming through all fours, tucking the toes, and downward facing dog or child's pose. Taking just a moment here, finding that downward facing dog shape. Inhale, look at your hands, come to your toes, and take a few steps to your forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen, hands to the shins, shoulders down the back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extended mountain pose, sweep the arms up. And then exhale through heart center and dive forward with a flat back to a forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen hands to the shins. Exhale, plant the hands, step back. You may modify by putting your knees down. Exhale, shift the weight over the hands. Keep the elbows pinned in, lower all the way to the ground, or find your up dog. And then either through all fours or straight up into downward facing dog. Hopefully you're finding the version of Sun A that works for you. We have one more. On your next inhale, come to your toes, look to your hands, and then take a few steps to find your forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen hands to the shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead, and then dive forward all the way. Planting the hands, stepping back, and finding either child's pose or downward facing dog. Pausing here for a moment. If you're in child's pose, you'll come to your hands and knees. If you're in downward facing dog, inhale first, and then exhale, step your hand between your hands. Lower the back leg, untuck the back toes. So we're in a half kneeling position here. Okay, inhale, sweep the arms up and over and pause here, okay? This is like a crescent pose or a lunge position, except we have a knee down. So I want you to think about tucking that tail underneath you. So that left glute is gonna really kind of pull in, pull the belly in, and shift the weight forward. So we're kind of going after a stretch on the left front of the thigh. Exhale, bring the hands down, come out of that stretch a little bit, and interlace the hands behind the back. Okay. Inhale, shift the weight forward, tuck the tail under, look up and reach those knuckles towards your back knee. Inhale, back up. Exhale, back up. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale down. This time on your inhale, you're gonna cactus your arms and really open the chest as you shift your weight forward and find that stretch. So this will be a little bit of a back bend here. And then release out of that. Inhale up, pause here, and then grab your left wrist with your right hand and lean to the right. As you lean to the right, your left hip maybe will shift a little bit to the left. You should feel this all through the side body and through the hip, maybe even the IT band. Coming up to center, releasing the hands down to the mat. This is where blocks, whatever you've got to suffice as blocks, will come in handy on either side of that front foot. Okay, we're gonna shift our hips back. You might need to shift your front foot forward heel, so that it can come up, toes pointed up. You'll bring the blocks with you, and blocks, if you're using them, have many different settings. So sometimes that higher setting is a good place to start. I want you to think of a long spine here, okay? You can have a little bend in that front leg, and I want you to think about your hips, your sit bones, actively pushing behind you. That's gonna give you the stretch in the hamstring. We're gonna pause here for a few breaths. So inhaling long spine, exhaling, maybe hinging a little bit more from the hip. And as you get further, if you've got blocks, you can kind of come down to the lower settings. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, maybe get some forward fold. So this is a half splits position, half Hanuman. All right, rebending through that front leg, bringing the blocks up on either side of the mat, placing the hands back on the mat, tucking the back toes, and stepping back high plank, either staying in plank for your chaturanga or lowering your knees. Exhale, shift forward, lower down, inhale into your back bend, and then exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose. Just a moment here between sides. Reconnect to your breath, reconnect to your body, and be here right now on your mat, doing the work. If you're in child's pose, you'll come to all fours. If you're in downward facing dog, you'll inhale fully and then exhale, step the left leg forward. Drop the back knee, untuck the back toes. Inhale, lift the arms up and pause. So again, that tailbone is pulling down towards the ground, maybe slightly under. The right glute is pulled in and toned, belly's in, shoulders down the back. And I'm shifting my weight forward a little bit, going after that right hip flexor stretch. Inhale up, and then exhale, sweep your hands down, interlace your hands behind your back. Inhale, shift the weight forward once again, finding that stretch, and this time, maybe a little back bend and a chest opener. Stretching the knuckles towards the back foot and looking up. And then releasing the hands as you shift the weight back a bit. Inhale up as you shift the weight forward, come into cactus hands. And then again, a little bit of a back bend. Inhale up, exhale down. One more time up, inhale. This time pausing here, grabbing the right wrist with the left hand, leaning to the left as your right hip pushes out to the right. Again, hip stretch, IT band, side bodies. Try not to round your chest down, keep it up towards the sky. And then coming back up to center, looking up, reaching up, filling your lungs up. And then exhale, bringing the hands to the mat, grabbing your blocks, adjusting either the knee back or the foot forward as you shift your hips back into half splits. Again, those blocks or whatever you're using will come back to frame the leg. Finding a height if you're using blocks that works to start with that long spine on your inhale. And then exhale, hinging a little bit more from the hips. Try to think about that left hip being pulled back as the right hip pulls forward. That'll keep your hips in a square position. Couple more breaths here. A little bend in that front leg. If you're feeling the back of the knee or if you hyperextend through the knee is fine. Just going after the hamstring stretch here. Lifting up on your inhale, bending through that front knee, releasing the blocks to the either side of the front of the mat, planting your hands, tucking the back toes, lifting the back leg, coming back into the high plank. You can always skip the vinyasa, or you can modify, or you can do the full thing. Lowering down, inhaling through your back bend, and then exhaling, downward facing dog or child's pose. All right, we're gonna step our right foot forward again. So either all fours or in downward dog. Inhale first, and then exhale, step the right foot forward. Keep the back leg straight up, and then straighten the front leg, and walk your hands to the middle of your legs, paralleling your feet. And I know you have a nice shot of my bum. And come into a wide-legged forward fold. Okay, here I want you to feel a little bit more weight in your toes. Anchor the inner arch of both feet and let the head be heavy. There's lots of choices you can do with your hands. You can grab your ankles. You can reach your hands through your legs. You can even come into a twist. Opposite hand to opposite ankle, and then opening up. And then you'll just need to make sure that gets done on the other side. So choose what you want. Feel free to have movement or find stillness. Wherever you are, coming back to the middle of the legs. Again, just pausing here to find a little bit more weight in the toes and anchoring the inner thighs. That'll ignite anchor the inner arches of the feet. That'll ignite the inner thigh. Bring the hands under your face and walk your hands back to your right foot to frame it. Bend the front leg, drop the back knee. Okay, heel toe the right foot out just a bit. With the left hand planted, inhale, twisted low lunge. Now, if you like, you can tuck the back toes and come up into a twisted low lunge, or you can modify with the knee down. So you can kind of choose and try both. Pull the shoulders down the back. Belly is in, and right hip is pulling back as the left hip pulls forward. And then you're going to come down. We're going to come into a lizard pose. So you can again drop that back leg, especially if you're not sure what lizard pose is yet. And you're going to open up the right leg. You're going to bring your right hand to the inner part of the right knee. As you open up the chest into a twist to the right and come into the knife edge of the right foot as you open up through the hip. So find a range of motion that works here. You can also do this with a lifted back leg, a little more intense. And again, just be mindful of the shoulders creeping up to the ears. Really pull them away, pull the belly in, and just find that stretch. And then coming back into center, framing your right foot with your hands, stepping back, either skipping vinyasa, modifying, or doing the full thing, up to you. Be in your body, listen to your body. And meeting in downward facing dog or child's pose for just a few breaths between sides. So if you're in child's pose, you'll come to all fours. And we're going to step our left foot forward on an exhale. Okay, and then we're going to straighten through our left leg. And we're going to walk our hands to the middle of our legs while we parallel our feet. Let the head be heavy. So we have second side here. I suggest you try something different than maybe you did on the other side. So if you just let your head be heavy, see if you can grab your ankles. Right? Maybe you want to reach through your legs. There is also an option of coming forward into this like wide-legged short down dog. That can feel really good. So take a moment here to explore doing maybe slightly different options than the other side. And then if you twisted or you're grabbing ankles, come with your hands on the mat in the center. And one more time, find a little bit more weight in the toes, anchor the inner arches. Come up halfway, and then walk your hands as you rotate your left toes, and then drop the back leg. Plant the right hand right underneath the shoulder. Inhale, open up, twisted lunge. Again, tucking the back toes if you'd like to come up with the back leg. Pull the shoulders down the back. Really think about that long spine. Pull the belly in. And think about that left hip pulling back, right hip pulling forward. And then bringing the left hand down to the inner side of the left knee, untucking the toes. Start from with your back knee down. You can always raise it. And then you're going to push that left knee out to the left, coming into the knife edge of that left foot and twisting open to the left. Shoulders down the back. You might have a little bit arch in the low back, but you want to really try to keep the belly in, that low belly in, so you're not overarching. And then again, left hip's going to kind of pull forward, right left hip is going to pull back. And then slowly coming back into center, tucking the back toes, planting both hands, lifting the back knee, stepping back, moving through your vinyasa or skipping it, and meeting in downward facing dog or child's pose. All right, we are going to come all the way down to the mat. So you can either do this from all fours or you can shift forward into your plank, drop your knees, and lower down through a chaturanga, finding your way all the way to the mat. Okay, you're going to need a little bit of clearance around side of you, so move anything that might be in the way. We're going to do locust, bringing your arms out to a T. But then your hands, lowering them a little bit lower than the shoulders. And then allow your fingertips to be the only thing that's touching the ground of your hand. So your palm is tented up. Center your head. Exhale all your air out. And then on your inhale, keep your fingertips on the ground, but lift your chest. Feet will also stay into the ground. You want to anchor your pubic bone and the tops of your feet as you pull your shoulders down your back. And then release. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, release. Do that twice more. Your inhale brings you up. And your exhale brings you down. Let's do one more. All right, we're gonna do locust again, but we're gonna use snow angel arms, okay? So bring your hands, palms up to the sides of your body. Center your head, exhale all your air up. Inhale, come up. So the hands are gonna come up, the chest is gonna come up. You can choose, feet can come up. If that feels too intense, leave them down. And then rotate your palms down and take your arms as you sweep them across, upward. Look at your hands, palms are facing each other, palms face down, and they come back around all the way to your side bodies. Flip the palms up and release down. Rest for a moment. We're gonna do that one more time. Center the head. Exhale all your air out. Inhale up, hands up, chest up, feet up are optional. Rotate your hands, palms down as you bring your arms up overhead. Palms will face each other, looking at your hands for a moment. Palms rotate down, all the way down to your side bodies, and then lower down. Bring your feet over your knees and make a pillow with your hands and just let your knees fall from side to side. Little windshield wipering. All right, plant your hands underneath on the mat right next to your chest, and then push up through all fours. We're actually going to come to a seated position by stepping forward, lowering the hips to the ground, and then laying all the way down. All right. Left leg extends long. Right knee, hug it and pull it in towards the chest. Pausing here for just a moment. Feeling this different positioning we're in now. Our body is likely feeling a little warmer than when we started. Now let that knee go just a little bit and see if you can shift the knee over to the right a bit, and then pull the knee so that the thigh comes a little bit more to the side of the rib cage and the knee a little bit more towards the armpit. And it's helpful to remind yourself to keep your shoulders relaxed here. It tends to, creep up into your shoulders sometimes. And then pull the low belly in just a bit to support this position. Release that leg long and up over your hip. Okay, so a strap is going to come in handy for many of you. Okay, if you can get peace finger to big toe, great, that's where you can be. Otherwise, the strap is over your ball of your foot and you're grabbing the strap with your right hand. Okay, and if needed, if you don't have a strap, you can always use your hands on the back of your hamstring and keep your legs straight. Okay, so finding this position, this should be familiar. We've been here before. Left hand, left hip. And that's just a reminder to keep your left hip anchored to the ground. Okay, shoulders pulled down the back. I want you to let your right leg fall out to the right, giving a little bit of pressure on your hand or strap with your toe or ball of your foot. Keep the left hip anchored, belly pulled in, shoulders down the back. If this feels really simple and easy to you, bend the right elbow and see if you can bring your foot a little closer to your head. And then coming back up to center, if you've got a strap, you're just going to switch hands. So the left hand will be in the strap. If you can reach your hand, you're coming across to the knife edge of your outer foot. Your right hand can rest back down onto the ground at a 45, and we're gonna let the left leg fall over. Our right leg fall over to the left. Our right hip is gonna come up off the ground, but try not to let that left foot just flop to the ground. So really keep some integrity in the body, some tension to hold that leg up. You should feel a stretch through the hamstring, perhaps in the outer hip. Coming back up to center, switching the hands, either peace finger and big toe or right hand on the strap. And then exhale, bend the elbow out to the side as you lift your chest and pull your leg towards your head. Release on your inhale. Exhale, do it again. Release on your inhale, and then release that leg completely. Maybe bouncing out the legs, the knees a little bit. Maybe you like the windshield wiper. That's good too, between sides. Okay, right leg extends long. Left leg comes up, pull left knee into the chest. All right, pausing here. And again, just like taking note of what's going on with the shoulders. And settling into this shape for a moment. Releasing a little bit, pulling the knee out to the left, and then now pulling the knee more towards the armpit. The leg will come to the side of the rib cage. Pull the belly in just a bit. Tap into those breaths. That's the through line of connecting mind and body. Is that breath. And then let go of that stretch just a little bit. Extend the left leg up over the hip. Strap or peace finger, big toes, right hand, right hip. Allow the leg to come out to the left. Again, right hip is anchored to the ground. Pull the belly in. Push the toes a little bit into the hand or the straps to give you tension. And then again, if this feels easy or very doable for you, bending that left elbow and thinking about bringing that left foot towards the head. Slowly coming back up to center, either switching the hand with the strap or right hand outer edge of the left foot. Left hand is going to come to the mat at a 45, and then letting the leg fall. A bent knee here could help and make this feel a little more doable. Left hip is going to come up off the ground, but again, don't let it flop. Pull the belly in, find some engagement through the body to support this. And then coming back up to center. Left hand reconnects to left foot, either through the strap or the big toe. Exhale, bend the elbow, pull the head up towards the shin as you pull the shin towards the head. Release on your inhale. We're going to do that twice more. Exhale, lift. Inhale, release. One more time. Exhale, lift. Inhale, release. Letting the foot come down to the mat. And you choose bouncing out the knees or maybe letting the knees fall from one side to the other. One more time, grabbing the hamstrings and just finding that rock and roll. So for some of you, it might feel like a small rock and roll. That's fine. If you can rock and roll all the way up to a seated position, great. If you need to roll to your side and then come up, do that. And come into a comfortable seated position. I'm going to face the camera. For me, cross-legged is comfortable. If that's not comfortable for you, choose something different. Inhale the arms up. And exhale to heart center. Take your right hand underneath the left. So these are eagle arms, either backs of the hands together or palms together. And then this is definitely a stretch for the upper back, but I want you to think about, as much as those shoulder blades are pulling away from the spine, pull the shoulder blades back towards the spine just a little bit. And that's going to broaden the chest. Pull the belly in, and then think about raising the forearms so they're right in front of your face. And then a couple breaths here, really keeping the integrity through the spine, supporting it through the belly, low belly. Releasing the arms, inhale up. Exhale through heart center. And now left arm is going to go underneath, either backs of the hands, palms of the hands, whatever you can manage. Sit tall. Okay, pull the belly in a little bit. And then again, think about those shoulder blades just being pulled together a little bit. I'm going to broaden the chest. And then raise the forearms so that you're looking right through them. Couple nice full breaths, sitting tall here. Try not to let the back round at all. Slowly release out. Inhale the arms up. Exhale through heart center. One more time. Inhale up. Stay here with your arms up. Release your right hand to the mat by your hip. And then as you exhale, bend to the right. So again, try not to let that chest round down. Keep it up towards the sky. This right hand can kind of inch out to give you some support. And then maybe looking underneath the left armpit. Try not to let those shoulders creep up. Inhale, back up to center both hands. Watch your hands connect. Exhale, heart center. Inhale up. Pause here. Let the left hand come down to the mat by your hip. Exhale as you lean to the left. Left hand can come out, giving a little bit of support. Round that chest up and maybe look under the right armpit. Mindful of the shoulders here. Inhale yourself back up, both hands up, watch them connect. Exhale through heart center. Inhale up. Pause here. Left hand is come behind your hip, fingertips pointed away from you. Exhale, we're coming into a seated twist. Right hand on the outside of the left knee, shoulders down the back, long spine, and twist from the belly. Looking over the left shoulder here. You can use a little bit of that leverage on the knee to twist, but try not to do that too much. We don't want the low back to be twisting. We want the mid spine to be twisting. Inhale, right arm back up. Left hand meets. Inhale fully. Bring your hands through heart center on your exhale. Inhale back up. Exhale, bring your right hand behind the right hip, and as you exhale, left hand on the outside of the right knee. Coming into your seated twist on the other side. Pull the shoulders down the back, anchoring both sit bones equally underneath you, and looking over the right shoulder. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale down through heart center. All right, keep the left leg in, the right leg extends long. Left sole of the foot, right inner thigh connects. So it's kind of a flag position or a figure four maybe. Sit tall, inhale. Exhale, fold over the right leg. I want you to have the toes pointed up on your right leg. And think about a little bit of engagement in that right leg. So kneecap up the leg as you fold over. So keep the long spine on your inhale, but maybe hinge more on the exhale. Actively taking that left knee and pushing it towards the ground. And feeling a stretch here through the back body of that left side. On your next exhale, if you'd like to round the back and come a little bit closer with the head to the shin, do so. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine and come all the way up. Switch sides, left leg long, right sole of the foot into the inner left thigh. Sit tall, engage a little bit through the left leg, toes up. Inhale up, exhale, fold. Keeping a long spine here at first. So inhale, commit to the long spine. Exhale, maybe you hinge more, and then thinking of actively pulling that knee, that right knee, towards the mat. On your next exhale, you can round through the back. Let the head grow heavy. Inhale, lift and lengthen, and come all the way up. Bring both feet, soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. Sit nice and tall. You can grab your ankles here to help give you leverage to find that long spine. So this might be where you stay. If you've got a little bit more room, you can bring those elbows out to the inner knees as you hinge forward, pressing the elbows into the knees. So if you're going to lean forward, make sure you're really kind of finding that long spine. Try not to round quite yet. Shoulders down the back. Now you can round if you'd like, bringing your head closer to your feet. Just like notice how that changes the stretch from a long spine to a rounded spine. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Release both feet out long, a little bouncing in the knees. And then bend the knees, flatten the feet on the ground, and just slowly roll back down into a laying position. Bring the knees together. Open up the arms to a T, palms facing down, and let your knees fall to the right. This is just a simple twist, supine twist. If you like a little bit more in your twist, you can bring your knees back up, cross the left leg over the right, shift the hips more towards the center of the mat, and then let them fall. So that'll be a little bit more intense if that's what you're after. Look over the left shoulder, if it's okay, on the neck. And keep both shoulders anchored to the ground as best you can. Bring your knees back up to center, uncrossing if you had them crossed, and switch sides. So do whatever it is you did on the right, do it on the left. So if you crossed on the right, cross on the left, and then looking over the right. And feel free to shut down your eyes here and kind of coming to that point where we're wrapping up class, but find the discipline to stay present. I think sometimes when things slow down in class and moving your body, it's easy to all of a sudden start thinking about the rest of your day. So use that discipline to stay in your body. Inhaling the knees up through center. Last asana here, happy baby. So feet are going to go up to the ceiling or sky. You're going to grab either, your ankles or the outer edge or the inner edge of your foot, whatever you can get and feel comfortable in your body. And then once you've got it pulled down so the knees are coming to the outer edge of the rib cage. Think about taking your tailbone and stretching it to the mat. And then be in stillness, or if you'd like to kind of find that natural rocking that happy baby lends itself well to, kind of a nice massage on the back. You can even experiment with straightening a leg one side to the other. And then coming to stillness, bringing the soles of the feet together and coming in briefly to Supta Baddha Konasana. One hand to the belly, one hand to the chest. Sink into your mat here. Close down the eyes. Let go of control of the breath, but not the presence of mind, right? So keep that breath just enough. Inhale, exhale to tether your mind to your body. Whenever you're ready, you can release both legs long, take up room on your mat, hands can stretch out to the sides, and let gravity just pull you into the mat. Take a couple of cleansing breaths, full inhale. Sigh it out, exhale. Let it go. One more, inhale. Sigh it out, exhale. Let it go. Feel the lips. Breathe naturally. Maybe for a moment here, reconnect to that intention that you set in the beginning of class. And know that that intention that you set on your mat, you can take it with you off of the mat. Settling into stillness, surrendering to the lack of movement in the body. And just letting the movement and the stretching that we did settle. Shavasana. Keep breathing in stillness, tethering your mind to your breath. Slowly deepening your breath, pulling yourself back up to the surface a little bit at a time. Allow this to be a transition. Wiggling the fingers and toes, full body stretch. When you're ready, rolling to one side. Maybe pausing there for a moment of gratitude for yourself and the movement you did today. And then coming up into a comfortable seated position and bringing your hands to heart center and bowing your chin and closing your eyes. Sending love to all beings. May we all continue reclaiming our power. May we all be happy and free. The highest light in me sees, honors, and respects the highest light in you. Namaste.